Joe and Sally retire at 65 with the exact same $3 million. The money is invested the same, and they expect the same Social Security benefit. By age 80, Joe has paid $340,000 more in federal taxes than Sally. The only difference? Sally used a tax window Joe didn't even know existed. Not because of the investments, not because of spending, because he missed a tax window. One Sally knew existed, but his advisor never told him about. That window is called the Roth conversion corridor. It is the gap between when your earned income stops and when required minimum distributions begin at age 73 or 75. For most people with $2 to $5 million, it's the only time your income is both low and controllable, and when moving money to tax-free actually makes sense. It is also the most underused planning tool I see at the $2 to $5 million level. Not because they don't care, but because most advisors never show it to them. I'm Ryan Knoll, founder of Nav Wealth, a firm that helps people nationwide near retirement make smart money decisions. Today I'll show you what the corridor is, what compresses it, and how to calculate exactly what to convert each year. If this hasn't been mapped out for you yet, you're not alone. Subscribe, we break this down every single week. Most people understand that a Roth IRA grows tax-free and has no required minimum distributions. What most people don't understand is when it makes sense to convert money into one and why that timing is so specific. When you're working, your income is high. A Roth conversion on top of a full salary means paying conversion taxes at your peak marginal rate, often 32, 35, or 37%. The math hardly ever works. When RMDs begin at 73 or 75, your income is high and out of your control. RMDs stack on top of Social Security and investment income and push you into higher brackets. Converting on top of RMDs compounds this problem. At that point, you're not managing your tax rate anymore. The IRS is. The corridor, which is the years between retirement and required distributions, is the narrow window where neither of those problems exist. There's no salary and there's no RMDs. Your taxable income consists primarily of investment income from the brokerage and whatever you choose to withdraw. For the first time in decades, you determine what you pay in taxes. But once those years are gone, you don't get them back. That controllability is the mechanism. You choose how much to convert each year. You choose which bracket to fill. You pay tax now at a rate you select, rather than later at a rate the IRS forces. For someone with $2 to $5 million in pre-tax accounts, the corridor is the best opportunity they will ever have to reduce the pre-tax balance that will eventually generate forced distributions. And to shift that money into an account that grows tax-free, requires no distributions, and passes to their children income tax-free. This is where most people with $3 million make their biggest mistake. Sally, who paid $340,000 less in taxes over her retirement, used the corridor deliberately, starting in the first year she retired. Joe, who paid more, never knew the window existed until his first RMD, when it was already too late to fix it. The corridor sounds simple: retire, convert, profit. But two specific situations compress it, often to the point where it stops working entirely. Compression number one: retiring too early with high withdrawal needs. As I covered in other videos, retiring at 62 with $3 million in no Social Security, no Medicare, and full living expenses coming from the portfolio means drawing $120,000 to $150,000 per year from your accounts in the early retirement years. That income is necessary to fund your life, but fills your brackets before a single conversion dollar is added. By the time you account for living expense withdrawals and investment income from the brokerage, your taxable income in the corridor years may already be $100,000 to $130,000. The room to convert at 22% is gone. Every additional dollar converted pushes into 24% or higher. The corridor exists on paper, but the math has compressed it into uselessness, because the portfolio is working too hard to fund expenses to also fund conversions at favorable rates. Compression 2, delaying Social Security till age 70. Someone who delays Social Security to 70 adds $40,000 to $60,000 of additional income, which is 85% taxable once they collect. That income fills the bracket for conversions. It crowds out the space where conversions were supposed to go. The corridor is widest when Social Security hasn't started yet. taking Social Security is the most critical decision of your retirement. Starting it at full retirement age as opposed to 70 fills your brackets earlier, but waiting until 70 gives you a bigger benefit, which fills up more of your bracket. If you have not been aggressive enough in earlier conversions, this offsets a lot of your advantage. This is the tightrope you need to walk. There isn't a fixed answer. You have to adjust this year by year. If you do nothing to avoid these two compressions, you permanently lose the lowest tax years you were supposed to use for conversions. Both compression forces are avoidable, but only if you know they're coming, because once it's compressed, you don't get that space back. If you haven't mapped this out yet, you could already be losing your lowest tax years without realizing it. I put together a free $3 million retirement readiness scorecard to help you figure it out. The link is in the description. Here's exactly how to calculate your corridor and use it. Step 1, identify your corridor width. Your corridor opens the year your earned income stops. It closes when RMDs begin and shrinks earlier if Social Security adds enough income to compress the conversion math. For most people retiring at 65, the corridor is 8 to 10 years long. Retiring at 62 gives you 11 to 13 years on paper, but those extra years are often compressed by high withdrawal needs. The practical corridor for an early retiree with living expenses coming entirely from the portfolio may be only 4 to 6 usable years. To find yours, take your planned retirement age, subtract from 73, then adjust downward based on how much of your bracket space will be consumed by living expense withdrawals and investment income before conversions can begin. Step 2. Calculate your annual conversion target. Each year in the corridor, your goal is to fill your tax bracket to the ceiling, converting as much as possible at 22% before crossing into 24%. This is the entire strategy. Fill your bracket every year before the IRS does it for you. Here is the math for a married couple filing jointly. The 22% bracket ceiling is $211,400 of taxable income this year. Add the standard deduction of $32,200 for married filers and an additional $1,650 for each spouse over the age of 65. That means you can have nearly $247,000 of gross income before crossing into the 24% bracket. Subtract your investment income from any brokerage accounts. Say that's $18,000. Subtract your living expense withdrawals from your 401k, and let's say that's $120,000 or $10,000 a month. That leaves you with roughly $109,000 of bracket space available for Roth conversions. Convert that amount from traditional to Roth this year. Pay tax at 22%, approximately $24,000 total. The pre-tax balance shrinks by $109,000. The Roth balance grows by the same amount, now compounding tax-free with no future required minimum distribution attached. Do that for 8 years and the conversion total reaches approximately $900,000. At 73, your RMD is calculated on a balance that is that much smaller, reducing the forced distribution, reducing the bracket pressure, and reducing the widow's tax trap down the line. The lifetime tax savings from a disciplined bracket fill strategy across an 8-year corridor compared to taking no action and waiting for RMDs is typically $250,000 to $400,000 for a $3 million pre-tax account. The Roth conversion corridor is not a complex strategy. It's a timing window, and like all windows, it is only valuable while it's open. For most people watching this, the corridor is either coming soon or already open. Every year you are in retirement without a conversion plan is a year the IRS is growing your future tax bill on your behalf, compounding inside the pre-tax account, waiting for 73 or 75 to force it onto your return. The $340,000 difference between Joe and Sally in the hypothetical was not built in 1 year. It was built in 8 quiet years most people ignore, between retirement and RMD's beginning, when Sally was paying attention and Joe wasn't. And once those years are gone, there's no way you can get them back. If you haven't calculated your specific corridor yet, how wide it is, what your annual conversion target should be, and how it interacts with Social Security timing and account mix, there's a link in the description to get on my calendar. Because with $3 million, the biggest risk isn't the market, it's the decisions you don't make. See you in the next video.